Welcome back to the Midnight Narrator, where the fabric of reality frays and the familiar world twists into something unrecognizable. Tonight, we delve into a chilling exploration of discordance, a phenomenon that shatters our shared perception and leaves us adrift in a sea of uncertainty. Prepare to confront a reality where lines bend, perspectives shift, and the ones we love become lost within the shifting planes of existence. Join me as we unravel the haunting story of the shifting lines. Dim the lights, steady your senses, and listen as we confront a horror that defies explanation. The term discordance describes anything that clashes with established order or expectation. A flower blooming out of season is a discordance, but so too is an experience that fractures our shared understanding of reality. Something that contradicts our collective perception, questioning the very nature of existence. That is a true discordance. Something to be documented. When it dissipates unexplained, however profoundly the discordance has reshaped your life, you are left feeling profoundly untethered. My sibling is a discordance now. It began with a simple comment about their sense of balance, a feeling of unsteadiness. The clinicians were initially dismissive. I remember echoing their sentiments. It's nothing. Everyone feels dizzy sometimes. It'll resolve itself. That's what everyone told them. We thought we were providing reassurance. Then the next shift manifested. We were awakened by their cries echoing through the dwelling. The floor is shifting, the floor is shifting. Without context, the words are meaningless. They understood the precise nature of their experience. They were trapped within a disorienting reality. No one could truly empathize. I entered their room just before our parents. They were crouched by the bed, their gaze fixed on the base of the wall. The lines are bending, they murmured. They're curving inward. My mother switched on the overhead light, perhaps hoping for a simple explanation. The late hour, under artificial illumination, can easily distort perception. It's a time when the mind can conjure illusions. But this was palpable. Their perception of the room's geometry was fundamentally altered. My mother immediately contacted the emergency service, while my father attempted to comfort them. It's all right. Can you describe what you're seeing? My sibling remained still, their focus intensely internal, struggling to articulate their experience. How could they convey something so subjective? It's fluid. My father and I exchanged a worried look. What did that signify? I offered a forced smile. What's fluid? They slowly rose, and we noticed they were moving differently, navigating the room with exaggerated caution, as if the space itself were unstable. The room fell silent. I could hear the dispatcher on the other end of the line verifying our location. My mother was physically present, but her mind was consumed by concern for her child. What's happening to my world? Their voice was strained and distant. It unsettled us deeply. To sound so disconnected from one's own reality is heartbreaking. It was the last time I witnessed them express any recognizable connection to our shared perception. They moved toward my mother in the doorway, not aggressively, but with a singular focus on exiting the room. Their movements were hesitant, as if they were constantly readjusting to an unseen force. We called after them, but they didn't respond. They didn't speak. They simply moved through the house, their footsteps fading into the echoing silence. Leaving the illuminated room, they seemed to dissolve into the shadows, their movements becoming increasingly erratic. I don't know if it was my imagination, but it seemed as if they were encountering invisible barriers, reacting to a space that existed only for them. Lost within our own dwelling, we searched frantically. The house became a labyrinth of echoing silence, punctuated only by my parents' increasingly frantic calls for my sibling. I remember the chilling emptiness of their now vacant room. The bed still rumpled from where they had crouched by the wall. A growing dread settled in my stomach as I searched the darkened hallways. Glancing out the kitchen window, I saw a flicker of movement near the old willow tree and ventured out. I was apprehensive about what awaited me, what distorted reality I might encounter. I felt compelled to share my siblings' experience. I approached cautiously. They were near the willow, a place we frequented as children. They spoke softly, the words barely audible above the rustling leaves and my own shallow breaths. Everything is displaced. Their voice, hushed and detached, sent a shiver down my spine. Their dark hair, usually neatly arranged, was now tangled and wild. I couldn't see them clearly in the darkness, but the faint moonlight revealed their distorted posture. They seemed to be contorting their body to adapt to a shifting plane. My voice trembled as I tried to connect with them. "We're here." I extended my hand. For a moment I thought they might respond. Perhaps they would have, had it not been for the distant wail of sirens. An emergency vehicle arriving at the front of the house drew their attention, and they turned away from me, their movements unnervingly fluid as they crossed the property line and disappeared into the surrounding fields. They were never located. We never found them. A memorial gathering was held several weeks later. 3 years have elapsed. I still inhabit the same house. Their room remains unchanged, the door perpetually ajar. Sometimes I imagine them there, their perception restored. "I understand now," they'll say. "You helped me see." But it's a phantom, a fabrication of my memory. My sibling as they once were is lost. Are they still out there, existing within a reality we cannot perceive? I received a chilling reminder last night. Unable to sleep, I became acutely aware of a subtle tremor. I don't know how long it had persisted before I registered it. Seconds, minutes, hours. It is irrelevant. Once I perceived it, it persisted. 5 distinct vibrations resonating against my window pane, behind the drawn curtain. Instead, pressed against the window pane, I saw 5 distinct marks. Not smudges, but impressions, as if something had pressed its long skeletal fingers against the glass from below. The marks began midway up the window, stretching downwards, the shadows they cast elongating grotesquely across the wall below. The distorted shapes were vaguely humanoid, the central mass just out of my direct line of sight. But the long, thin fingers were undeniable. They were disturbingly reminiscent of my siblings' long, slender hands. Whether it was them, I couldn't bear to consider it. I stood there, recoiling, but remaining silent. Their altered perception wasn't the most unsettling aspect. My own sense of stability wavered. And there we conclude our unsettling journey into The Shifting Lines, a story that explores the fragility of perception and the terrifying consequences of being untethered from our shared reality. What happens when the world we know begins to change, and those closest to us become lost within the shifting lines of existence? How do we cope with a loss that defies understanding? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. If this tale has left you questioning the very nature of reality, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and activate the notification bell to join us on future explorations into the unknown. This is the Midnight Narrator signing off. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most terrifying horrors are not monsters that stalk us in the night, but the subtle shifts in reality that leave us forever lost.